Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do a pretty entertaining revenge article titled, Groom Reveals Bride Cheated on Him with His Best Man During the Wedding Speech. And guys, just like the title said, this is just a simple, old-fashioned good revenge story about a guy over in the UK who found out somehow, some way before he got married, that his best man, his bro, and his bride were hooking up. So he decides to wait to the wedding speech to let everybody know, screw her over, as well as her family who are paying for the whole thing, and got his revenge. Now, naturally, we can all think, why didn't he do that before they said I do? Because now he's got to go through the annulment and everything. But regardless, it's an entertaining revenge story for the weekend. Something a little change of course that I've been going to go over here. I think you all get a laugh. Says here, according to data published in the Journal of Marriage and Divorce, an estimated 70% of married Americans admitted to cheating once in their marriages. That sounds probably about right. In fact, it's probably higher. While that number is massive, it doesn't take into consideration the number of partners who cheat before the wedding day. Such was the case for one groom, who learned that his bride was being unfaithful to him before they could even make it down the aisle. Instead of confronting her and canceling the entire ceremony, however, he went through the wedding and decided to expose her infidelity after making it official. Well, again, that's funny, but I think he would have caused just as much damage by right before, when they were up in front of everybody and saying the vows and shit, but before they officially made it official, he could just turn around, made an announcement to the families, the congregation, and walked away, and they technically weren't married, because now he has to go through the annulment and everything like that. But, again, what's done is done. It says a groom waited until his wedding speech to reveal that his bride cheated with him and the best man. The shocking wedding story was told on the UK-based podcast, The Unfiltered Bride, hosted by professional wedding planners George and Beth, who claimed that they had heard about the incident through an anonymous third party. I've got another story to tell you, George announced. I can't tell you who told me because I'm not allowed to really tell the story, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. This is coming from the podcast. This is a transcript of the podcast. She explained that the wedding started off smoothly until speech time. The father of the bride had just finished his speech when the groom decided to give one too. The groom stands up and says, just before I properly get started, there are some envelopes coming around right now if you all care to open them. Yeah, those are pictures of the bride sleeping with the best man. So I'll be leaving right now. Whoa! He actually got to that's some work. Getting envelopes for everybody and having the pictures. Obviously, he had a PI. After exposing the bride's infidelity, the groom and everyone in his family left the wedding. She claimed that after dropping that bombshell, the groom dropped the microphone, and not only did he leave, but so did all of his family members. Apparently, the groom's entire family was in on the big revelation and knew that she had been cheating. I don't know how, okay, crazier things have happened, but people talk and drink and all that. I don't know how they all kept it quiet. Because this is my understanding. They all went to the freaking wedding knowing that he was going to do this, and nobody talked. They went through the whole thing. I hope they're getting some cake out of all this and some of the good food, but regardless. It was the ultimate revenge. The bride's family was forced to pay for all the wedding festivities because nothing was canceled beforehand, and she was humiliated in front of all their friends and family. Well, she deserves to be humiliated, and the best man deserves to be humiliated, but what if her family were nice people? Here's the thing. He could have revealed this right before the wedding. They wouldn't have gotten a whole lot of money back, but still. I guess I'm going to assume maybe her family are a bunch of assholes. I don't know. The bride's family paid for everything. Karma is expensive. Both Georgie and Beth said. Karma is the best. I can't read this. Karma is the best man as well. While the groom was certainly thorough in his commitment to humiliating his wife, was it really a good move? Well, research has found that that revenge, although not exactly a motive to brag about, triggers the reward center in the brain, making even just thinking about the act a pleasurable experience. Hey, look. I'm all for forgiveness, not for the other person that harms you, but for yourself. So you're not walking with anger in your heart. But when somebody does you wrong and getting even with them, it feels pretty darn good. I'm sure some of you guys have experienced that. And you got a lot of people out there say it's not going to change anything, you won't feel better. I call bullshit on that. Well, there's no denying that watching this cheating wife and her accomplice, the groom's very unloyal friend, get their just desserts must have tasted sweet in the moment. Sorry for the pun. Revenge can't exactly be described as taking the high road. Can you even imagine keeping up the ruse of going through an entire wedding, knowing that the person you were marrying was unfaithful just so you could get revenge? There are plenty of critics of his behavior as well. Of course, there were critics. My only biggest criticism is two things. One, now he has to deal with the annulment of divorce. Yes, they just got married and they can do it, but it's still a hassle. But again, about her family. If they were nice people, then he should have immediately ended it and let them know, again, if they were nice people, so they could maybe get some money back. Now they spent all this money on it. But if her family are a bunch of assholes, then hey, screw them. Some people in the comments section weren't too impressed with the groom's idea of revenge. Well, of course. But if they're at the reception making speeches, then they already had the ceremony, and he married her. One TikTok user pointed out. Another user added, "Why did he even go through the wedding?" While finding out that your spouse cheated, especially right before your wedding day, can be a disappointing and glum realization, the karma the groom intended to give the bride is a bit problematic, especially since he felt inclined to share NSFW images of the bride and his best man to do so. Oh, so this commenter has a problem with him showing the photographs and pictures, the images of that he got probably from a PI of them hooking up. Too bad. I got no problem with that. That bears repeating. He shared explicit images of his wife and her cheating partner without their consent, solely with the intent to humiliate them. Makes cheering for his extreme response a little hard to swallow, doesn't it? That's probably from a woman. I don't know that for sure, but I'm willing to bet you it's from a woman. Now, depending where he is, there's certain laws are against that, revenge, PORN, and stuff like that, but still. How about how bad this dude was? How bad he was humiliated? His bride was cheating with his buddy. Doesn't make a difference who she was cheating with, but still with his buddy. They deserve some suffering. Licensed clinical social worker and founder of Affair Recovery, Rick Reynolds, sounds like a comic book character. Rick Reynolds wrote, "There is no doubt that betrayal creates a pain like no other, and it's predictable that we would react out of that wretched pain, but two wrongs never make a right." Smack to Rick. Rick, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Vengeance will never bring healing. It only brings further damage to the relational bond. It can never change the past, and it can actually cloud the future. I don't know, guys. I would feel pretty darn good about that revenge part. Except I wouldn't have gotten married. I would have done it beforehand. Rick Reynolds went on to say, "Some believe the lie that making the other person pay will make it better, help them feel vindicated, make them more fair, or fill the hole in their heart. It inevitably leaves them with nothing but feelings of self-contempt, pain, and anger as they deal with the surfacing of their own dark side." Well, we all have a dark side. And that's exactly what's wrong with revenge. It feels good in the moment, but once the moment passes, the fact that you lowered your own moral gauge will ultimately impact you more. Never happened to me. This doesn't even touch on the fact that sharing those images raises serious concerns regarding privacy, consent, and the well-being of individuals involved, not to mention issues of legality. Well, I would have checked the laws of the land before doing that, but if he was living in a place that he couldn't get in trouble for that, because I think some areas of that revenge, PORN, is kind of a gray area, then I say knock yourself out. Again, how about all the humiliation this guy went through, Rick Reynolds? Of course, it's unfortunate that the groom discovered the person he planned on spending the rest of his life with had cheated, but his response was definitely not the correct way to go about it. Well, Rick Reynolds, let's see how you have your girlfriend or fiance or bride cheat on you. You might feel different. But anyhow, guys, there you go. Quick article. It was sent over to me. I forget who sent it to me. Whoever sent it to me, I appreciate it, but I forgot to write down your name. But anyhow, pretty funny one there. Nothing like a good revenge story. Now, again, guys, you don't want to go around hating your heart. I say you forgive, not for them, but for you. But the way I see it, some people deserve some good payback. And yes, the best revenge always is a life well lived. Success is the best revenge. This guy can move on, have a great life, and her life would turn to dog shit. But still, in my opinion, dishing something out to some a-holes definitely, is warranted here. I'm still absolutely confused how he couldn't just waited till right before they said idea made it official, that by ending it with her, announce it to the whole congregation, to the whole families there, the whole wedding parties, and walk away. And again, back to the family, I really got to know, were they a bunch of a-holes too? Because, they're having to pay for all this crap. But beyond that, I think it's pretty darn funny. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. It's a quick one, but I thought it'd be a funny one to cover here. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know, do you think this guy went too far? Do you think it was too bad? Or I'm sure most of you guys would probably say he should have just ended it with her beforehand or that type of thing. I'd like to know. And be sure to like the video, share it to friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.